Hello everyone and welcome to a little review on the Wacom Cintiq, however you want to pronounce that. So what I'm going to do is just go over some of the pros and cons. The main con that I have above everything, well actually it's kind of the only thing, is that this thing is gigantic. This is the 22-inch HD, so it's very big. The screen is of course 22 inches, but the overall equipment is a lot larger. And I really mean a lot larger. So be prepared for that. Compared to my regular monitor, this is miles bigger. I guess one of the other real cons is you're going to need a glove for this, because otherwise your hand will stick to the screen and you can leave all kinds of grubby marks and it's not very nice. I just have a glasses glove. This is just one with my original printed work on it, and I just use this to clean the screen, or if I feel like I'm up for balancing the cloth, then I'll keep it on and use it like that with my pen in my hand, and draw like that. But it's a little bit of a pain in the butt, so I'm not going to do that. Not for this anyway. But yeah, it has a bunch of buttons. I haven't done anything with these buttons yet, so they don't do anything that I know of. They probably do, but I'm not going to press them, just in case they do something funny. You have a menu. I think that's like a settings or maintenance button. I'm not going to press it, because I don't know what it does. And that looks like information. You have a power on button here, or power on light here, and then a light for it when it's registering a pen, so when you put your pen close to the screen and touch, it registers that you've pressed on the screen. At the back is a button, and that's to turn the whole thing on and off. And at the sides, when you connect it to the stand, you'll have these two black lever parts. So you pull them into you, and then you can push down to push the screen back. You can actually have it back a lot further than that. I just don't have that much room. Oh, they seem to have done something. Oh, okay. Like I said, I'm not overly familiar with this yet, and I've done something I don't even know what I've done. Oh, okay. I'm learning things. Okay, well I know what zoom in and zoom out is. Okay. Alright, so yeah, there's buttons at the back apparently for zooming in and zooming out, but I just kind of like just grabbing the tool to do that. So yeah, the only con is just the fact that you're going to need a glove, and that this thing is massive. But other than that, it's easy to install. There are no problems. It's got 3 wires at the back, a USB, just a monitor connection. I'm not sure what the actual name for that cable is, but the usual cable that you have to connect your monitor to your PC. And then of course you have the power supply, and so that's just standard. Anything else to make note of? It does work with Paint Tool Sign. It has no problems whatsoever. Compared to my previous tablet, which was a Wacom Bamboo Pen and Touch, this has a lot more pressure sensitivity. And I mean like a lot more. It's a lot more sensitive to overall pressure. So you get a lot more variance in your lines, which is great. Yeah, other than that, it's really easy to set up. It is really easy to work with. So I just want to cover a few subjects that need to come up. A lot of people have this weird belief, and I've been through it before myself, so I know others go through the same thing, but believing that a graphic tablet will drastically change your work quality, in terms of your work will get better if you buy a graphic tablet, or it'll get even better if you have a monetized graphic tablet. And I'm gonna nip that right in the bud and tell you that that's not true. Your work quality is down to you yourself as the artist. So having a flashy graphic tablet is not going to make your work any better than drawing on paper. The only difference is that, of course, you are working digitally as opposed to traditionally. And I will say that traditional skills and traditional work is, definitely something to practice, just because, you can learn so much. You can learn so many things that you can't normally learn if you don't. You can't normally learn if you're just gonna work on computer. I feel like digital art can teach you, to cheat. As sad as that is, but it's true. And I feel like that's because, digital art gives you that freedom to, shall we say, mess up and then fix your mistakes, whereas, of course, more traditional methods, unless you can fix it, the odds are it's ruined, so you have to take your time and not rush things. So yeah, those are some, noticeable difference. So just to clarify, no graphic tablet in the world is going to make your artwork a million times better. It's just not true. Is this worth the money? Yeah. For me, I needed something that gave me that same connection that I would normally have with my traditional work. Being someone who does enjoy traditional mediums, I feel like my digital work was very, I don't know, it didn't have that same connection. I didn't have that same fluidity with my lines, and I just didn't feel that same connection with my work. So that was quite sad, actually. And this isn't very good. I'm just aimlessly doodling something out. So please excuse the quality, but I'm just wanting to show you the variance in lines and what it is that you can actually accomplish with this. Because it is a very impressive piece of equipment. So yeah. It was worth the money, definitely. It's really fluid, it's really nice to use. I know that a lot of people, do suggest buying cheaper alternatives, and I just want to kind of put it out there that I've done a lot of research on the alternatives and, really looked into, is it worth buying an alternative? Are there problems? And the answer is, yeah, people have had problems. Some problems are, fixable, and some are just downright not. And the problems could be down to a multitude of different things, such as the drivers don't work, or, the piece of equipment itself just doesn't work. So, those are some of the things that you may have to face, whereas if you have a problem with your Wacom, the odds are that you can just phone them up and ask them to give you a hand. So, that's the plus side about buying a Wacom itself. Some of these other off-brands don't have the same support that, you can get from Wacom. So, just keep that in mind. There are some brands that keep popping up on Amazon, brands like UG, I think the other one was Padlo or something like that. There are a bunch of them that I've seen lurking, surfacing lately. I was originally going to get a Unova, and in the end I decided against that, and that was because I've heard of some people just, flat out having really serious issues with it. And then there were people who didn't have any issues at all. But for me, with my work, I felt like I didn't want to gamble and have to go through so much stress just to try to create a bit of work. It just seems like a lot of hassle just to achieve the same thing. So I'm not bothering with that. But sometimes they do work. I'm gonna say that if you want a cheaper alternative, just be mindful of what you might be getting yourself into, and just do your research. But yeah, this was something that I was working on previously. Again, you can see the great variations in lines. The detail is really good. It is really nice. It's really good to work with. It feels like working on paper. And this was just some more line piece that I did. So, but again, you can see the variations in line. Something quick that I would like to show you is the whole sketching. If I draw in the same place, if I keep trying to sketch in that same place, I'm not sketching in the same place, I seem to have strayed off. Alright, do it again, and try and stay in the same place. Alright, and now let's see. So of course my first attempt is skewed out, but my second attempt is a lot more contained, and that's at 300%. So if I go to 100, you can see it's actually pretty good. It's not that different. So if I do a singular stroke, yeah. And of course, you know, if you're going to overlap that a few times, it's going to get about as thick as that anyway. But you can get a good range of motion from this. I do have a light version of Photoshop. I just don't use it for drawing. I tend to use Paint Tool Sai instead, and it works phenomenally well, as I've probably said before. But I have heard it works perfectly fine in Photoshop and many other programs as well. Whereas some of the other knockoff, well, I wouldn't say they're knockoffs, but you know, other brands have issues with certain programs. So, like I said, do your research, because the program that you use may not be compatible with one of the other off-brands, shall we say, off-brand tablets. So, yeah. Do I recommend buying this over a basic standard tablet? The answer is yes and no. If it's going to be your first tablet, I would recommend getting the smaller version of this, which is the 13, or maybe testing an off-brand tablet instead, because some of those are a lot cheaper, and then seeing how you feel about that, because you may find that you don't like a monetized tablet and would rather just have the box standard. You know, the box standard, just draw on this equipment and then, you know, watch it appear on screen kind of thing. So, you know, those are just some things that you need to be mindful of and assess for yourself as to whether or not that's right for you. Anything else that I can quickly address? No, I guess that's kind of it. You know, do your research, make sure that this is what you want. It is a phenomenal tablet. It works brilliantly well. I have had no problems with this whatsoever. I only installed it in today, and it's really easy. Really easy. Once it's all calibrated, which you have to use the drivers for, because it won't calibrate itself otherwise. Once it's all calibrated and set up, it's beautiful. It's a lovely piece of equipment. And yeah, it's just really big. But yeah, like I said, you can get the smaller one, which is the 13 HD, and that is smaller. One of my friends has one, and it works really well for her. So, of course, you know, size, it depends on what you're used to and what you like. I wanted something larger than what I was working on before, and this was kind of the next step, so hey, it's a big thing. But yeah, just do your research, make sure you know what it is that you're getting yourself into, make sure that, you know, support is available to you, because if something goes wrong, you want to make sure that you can get the support that you need to get the, you know, expensive equipment that you've purchased to start working again, or to start working at all. But yeah, and of course, you know, the tablet itself is not going to make your work a million times better. So always keep that in mind as well. Practice traditional art, definitely, because that's important. But yeah, I hope this information was useful. There are probably things that I've forgotten to go over, and if you feel like there's anything that I could address or just go over with, then please feel free to ask me, and I'll do my best to address the question. I will be doing tutorials with this just because this is a really lovely piece of equipment, and you know, I feel like you watching me draw on the screen itself gives you more connection with what it is that I do, and of course help you understand the equipment itself. But yeah, that's kind of all I have to say for now. Actually, I will say that the more modern versions have a much better pressure sensitivity, and for me, I find that being on the screen, I have a lot better control over the blur tool. Of course, pressing lightly, it only blurs slightly, but if I really press down on it, it really blurs it, and it just looks so good. So it's a really, really lovely bit of equipment. And I really like that. I really love the control over some of these, you know, over some of the tools in my art program, because that just gives me that much more connectivity with my work itself. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and like I said, if you've got any questions, just feel free to ask, and I'll be doing more tutorials with my Wacom again in the future, well, probably a lot sooner, and be more frequent with my YouTube uploads. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for being a supporter, and if you're new, then hey, a big hello to you. Anyway, thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye!